lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life goes lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From the house that Penske built, the fired-up eSports League is ready to assault the asphalt in Brooklyn, Michigan tonight. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. After a solid win last week at Nashville Fairgrounds, Andrew Ton looks to make back-to-back trips into victory lane tonight in the shadow of all that is American motor power here in the Wolverine State. Brian Whitney is still leading in our point standings with a slim lead over Alex Link. Meanwhile, the New Englander Clayton White trails my fellow Pennsylvanian Jeremy Garand by just 4 points in a tight battle for third in the standings. I'm Dave Regal alongside Mr. Matt Metler here in the broadcast booth, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on Sim Racing Media. And Matt, although we aren't doing the same league that we did a couple of weeks ago, it is an absolute treat to be with you here tonight in Michigan for the Fuel Truck League.
Oh, that's right, Dave. I could not agree with you more. It's great to be back alongside you in the booth. This time, we're going to fuel it up, fire it up. After all, it is the Fuel Fired Up eSports Series. And we're going to take them up north to the Irish hills of Michigan. And we're going to tear these guys loose for 100 laps. So you better strap yourself in. It's going to be epic.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at Alex Link, as a matter of fact, Alex Link in the 91 machine. He's out here on his opening lap for his qualifying effort, and so far not too shabby for the driver of the 91 Toyota Tundra as he rolls it down the backstretch. Pretty quick time so far, as he's got about a half lap left. Chris Vinson Brian Whitney, and Alex Link does not like something he sees, so it looks like he's going to reset and come out and do this all over again. Meanwhile, Jeremy Garand from Philadelphia. Oh, he's not just a Pennsylvanian. He is my fellow 215er here from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the number 7 Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It kind of shocks you sometimes when you look at the driver information. There's someone literally could probably throw a rocket out your back door.
Listen, on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series over on the Independence Racing Network, and of course on the Davis Brothers Roofing Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series here on Sim Racing Media, we have a driver who literally is 12 minutes from my front door. A couple of us have even gotten a chance to go hang out together in real life. Plus, one of the other drivers, he and I actually used to work together.
That is just wild. But hey, you've been in the industry long enough. Sometimes crazy things like this do happen. But you know what? Why not go hang out with your buddy? Hey, you know him in sim life. You might as well meet him in real life. Hey, especially if it pays off or it's worth a good, hey, you never know.
Right. Here's the thing. The cars may be virtual, the track may be virtual, the racing is real, and the relationships are real.
And no better way to reinforce the relationship by hanging out, having a couple beers, or doing whatever you guys like to do best.
Right. Well, generally, it's all about the beer. Nobody usually likes to get out a bag of blow on a first hangout,
Well, not unless you're Scarface.
Well, that's fairly accurate. But that's probably the first time that somebody just had a shiver go up their spine as my mouth did what it does best here. As we take a look at Tyler Travis in the number 9 Toyota Racing Development Sport Toyota Tundra here as he goes down the backstretch, about a half lap to go. Andrew Tunn goes 4th fastest, and Oscar Jensen and Johnny Avila, the only 2 drivers not to go out and lay down a qualifying lap tonight. What do you say we take a look right now at our race info as we watch Tyler Travis cross the start-finish line? Let's see where he goes. He goes 4th fastest and knocks Jeremy Garand down to 5th and Andrew Tunn to 6th. We're going to switch over to Tunn now and see how he's going to finish up this qualifying effort. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 74 degrees, the outdoor ambient air temperature. But Matt, check this track temperature out. 108 degrees.
Ooh, it's starting to sizzle out there, which means that blacktop is going to be hot. Translation, that truck's going to be slipping and sliding a little bit all over that racetrack, especially after they get about 25 laps on those Dr. Feelgoods or so. That should really make the interesting take it up another level. And that's one thing these guys really don't need to do. If you guys have been here, a big shout out to all you guys in the YouTube chat. Brian Whitney Nation in the house again tonight. Fuel these guys here. If you haven't watched one of their races, you better sit down, grab a beer, strap yourself in, because this track is going to put on a show. These guys are going to use this track to their advantage. And I'm telling you, it's going to be door to door, flag to flag tonight. The racing action is going to be nonstop. I'm fired up for this one.
Yeah, I believe fired up is a term that we are going to be using in an endearing fashion all evening long. As here's something that I always look at. In our Sim Racing Media general Discord channel, I always see, a lot of people, a lot of these names, your Clayton Whites and Tyler Travis and a couple of different names floating around on Discord, but I never actually get to see these guys race because I'm always tied up with something else. So this is a treat for me as the field is gridding right now with Alex Link going to be sitting on the pole tonight. Let's pull up that beautiful bean footage here as we look at our starting grid. 12 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight, Matt, with Alex Link here sitting on the pole. Cody Porter going to be on his outside from Money Shift Racing. Row 2 made up of Clayton White and Brian Whitney. Tyler Travis and Jeremy Garand going to be in row 3 from Time to Tell Motorsports and BRM Racing. A couple of free agents in Andrew Tunn and Anthony Emmerich starting in 7th and 8th, making up row number 4. Row 5 made up of Chris Vinson and the Canadian Johnny Avila, with Oscar Jensen and Kenny Reel starting shotgun on the field back in 12th position. So 12 cars, like I said, ready to take the green flag, and I can't be more excited.
No, and don't let that small car count fool you, because you guys at home are going to think there's 25 to 30 cars on the racetrack with the way that we're going to be bouncing all over this broadcast. These 12 drivers are going to work us to death in the booth, and I'm going to love every second of it. 91 Alex Link. Now, there's a driver there when it comes to mile-and-a-half racetrack. This guy is robotic. Started off the season going 3 for 3, if I remember correctly, 1 from the pole. This guy was robotic. Just a great mile-and-a-half driver. He's got the Moonlight Special, a.k.a. Moonlight setup underneath that truck. Him and his umbrella partners, or drivers, I should say, tonight, always look for them to be quick. That's going to be Cody Porter, Brian Whitney. Look for these top 3, top 4 guys to be putting on a show up front. They're going to be bad fast. I can assure you of that.
Absolutely, and we're taking a look at these drivers coming off of pit road right now as Kenny Reel just bringing up the rear and getting himself into line. Alex Link, Clayton White, some really big names here in this series, and I'll tell you what, I cannot be more excited as we see these cars coming through turns 1 and 2. We wait for them to come out of turn 2 and come down the backstretch. Matt, listen, I'm finally getting that little feeling here. I know that we're not in the playoffs, but I know that the playoff, is coming near in the next few weeks, and, that's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I typically get a tingle in my lug nuts, too, before I pull out onto the racetrack for a lap. So I want to make sure they're locked in nice. You okay there, Dave?
Yes, sir. Fortunately, the fans can't hear me hacking like that.
Wanted to make sure. Didn't swallow a lug nut.
No, well, no, I'm always a little scared, especially when somebody's talking about, their lug nuts starting to jingle around. But right now, I'm standing up here next to the starter in the stand. He's got that green flag in his hand. It's not up in the air yet as the field is just getting ready to come out of turn 3 and roll into turn 4. We see the iRacing.com pace truck looking down toward pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in, because we are about to be green flag racing here at the house that Penske built.
That's right. Here we go. Let's take him live to the Irish Hills. He's got the button 91 of Alex Link. Waste no time mashing that gas pedal right through the floorboards of that 91 TRD Toyota. He's going to charge down to turn 1. He's got P1 locked up. He owns it right now. Following close behind in close proximity, the number 2 of Cody Porter. Third place, I assure you guys, this is a dark horse driver tonight. He is overdue to get a win. That 53 of Clayton White. Look for him to be a strong performer contender here this evening. Brian Whitney, 76. He's no stranger to running up front. He's currently occupying the 4th position. Dave, that's the top 4 as they run right now.
Taking a look right now at the 7th place driver. Listen, you got to take a look with me tonight here at the AE Plumbing number 23 Toyota Tundra, as the driver's door here has quite the unique paint scheme on it as Anthony Emmerich is chasing down Jeremy Garand. I've already found my favorite paint scheme of the night. And just next to him, Oscar Jensen looking to the inside, trying to get himself a run just underneath Anthony Emmerich, as Anthony Emmerich runs up in here to the top of turn 3. That opens the door for Jensen to get underneath.
Yeah, Jensen, he loves eating it down on the low side, especially on a fresh set of Dr. Feelgood. So look for him to utilize that low line of the racetrack, especially in the early opening stages of the racetrack. Another driver that's been not getting the finishes he deserves is that 32 machine. So look for him to rebound this week in that F-150 as well. Well, Dave, here you go. We're still kind of almost 2x2 for the sake of the argument. I don't expect these guys going single file at any point in time tonight. In fact, you can tell they're getting pretty dicey already. They're about doing the crazy train down the back straightaway. They're kind of offset 2x2. 3 wide as we speak right there at the moment as the 7's falling back. Maybe he decided 3 wide wasn't just a good idea in the best of his interest this early on in the run. But hey, we're dicey, we're racy already, and we're only 4 laps into it.
Absolutely. Taking a look right now at Chris Vincent here in the 21 machine. He was ready to take it 3 wide between the 9 and the 23 and decided better about it and backed out, as now Chris Vincent gets just ahead of the 23. He puts Tyler Travis in his crosshairs and decides that he's going to go after that number 9 TRD Toyota Tundra, who of course is also chasing down Andrew Tunn in the Diet Dr. Pepper, Chevrolet Silverado. And just now, as we're starting to creep around, we can see Brian Whitney, who does have a fan here, Samantha Amber, in our YouTube live chat. She's saying, go Whitney. We're going to take a look right now at Mr. Whitney in his number 76 Chevrolet Silverado. Look at that paint scheme from Whitney Racing, that nice 76 logo on the rear of this machine. I'll tell you what, 76 gasoline used to be like the thing.
It was the only thing.
Once upon a time.
I know. Times change, and I hate it. Now it's, we can talk about that for a long time. But you're right. That 76 truck always looks top shelf out here on the racetrack. Definitely has the fan vote. Whitney Nation always shows up big time in the YouTube chat. So we appreciate you guys showing up once again here tonight. You want to talk a little more about Brian Whitney? This man had one heck of a run going. He was dominating the stages of the race. He made all the right calls, the right pitch strategy, and caution came out late. He just wasn't quite able to pull the deal. But this man is due for a win. He's one heck of a talent out here on the racetrack. There's another person. He may be one of the ones to watch. Going back up front, Bella for the lead. The 91 of Alex Link. He's going to be under attack from the 63 of Johnny Avella, a.k.a. Johnny the Rocket. Look at the 32 up there, doing a little tandem bump drafting, helping the 63 to potentially pull alongside of the 91 of Alex Link. He's going to try to pinch him down the bottom of the racetrack, take the preferred line away. But I got to imagine that the 32 of Oscar Jensen helping the 63, they're going to be able to overtake him on the top side.
They absolutely are. That Express eSports Toyota Tundra diving into turn 3 and now 4 is being pushed along by S&G Sim Racing. And I'll tell you what, these two machines here working together, I'm betting dollars to donuts. We're going to see both of them up front for a long time tonight as the 63 drops down in front of the 91 of Alex Link, thinks better of it and gets out of the way as Link obviously had the run. Now they're going to be side by side. Link thinking about side drafting, maybe just a little. However, he doesn't have the run that he'd need to be able to try to capitalize fully on that. Meanwhile, Oscar Jensen once again coming up to give Avila a punch here, but thinks better of it and backs off once again.
Oh, I hope you guys are in the mood for some shake and bake, because that's what you're going to get at the front of the field, especially with the 63, the 91, and the 32. They're going to be putting on a clinic up front, and that's what these guys, this is how they race. The back of that truck wiggling a little bit, don't let it bother you. That's pretty common here. I had to get used to it myself watching these guys run. But how about, look at this, down on the inside of the racetrack, the 63 of Johnny Avella. He was just on the top side, if I remember correct, last lap this time by. And he's going to get a big push. Now 32 of Oscar Jensen's going to go to work with the 91 of Alex Link on the top side of the racetrack. Dave, back to you, man.
Avila actually slides back here into third position, allowing Jensen to take P2 away from him. Avila slides up in front of Cody Porter as we get ready to come down the front stretch. Now, Oscar Jensen getting the run over top of Alex Link. They're side by side as they cross the start-finish line here on lap number 9. I guess it's about soon time that we put that ticker up the top of the screen here. Lap 10 of 100 here in the fired up eSports League Truck Series. We have one heck of a battle going on for the lead right now, Matt, as it looks like Oscar Jensen trying to hold on desperately to P1, but once again, we see Johnny Avila
Caution on the racetrack.
Oh, and we are under caution.
Yeah, caution on the racetrack, just as the 63 machine of Johnny Avila was getting ready to dial up the punt. And as we take a look at what happened here out on the racetrack, looks like someone on the high side stepped out on him just a little bit, and he had some help on the bottom side as well. Looked like from, I can't tell from the blimp view, looks like possibly the 54 of Andrew Torn.
The 9 got up into the 54, and we can see it right here from the blimp. We're going to watch the 9 slide up the racetrack. He just got tight and came up into the side of the 54 on the driver's side. The 54 turns down into the 21 without any help whatsoever, and then, then the 23 just absolutely nails him.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had a little bit of some frame loss there on the initial look at the replay.
I think you're allowed tonight, considering your circumstances.
I appreciate that. To get a free pass for frame lag delay, but tomorrow, I'll pay dearly if it happens again.
Don't worry. Don't be sorry. Just don't let it happen again.
Yes, master.
You'll have to forgive me as well, as I'm working with about half a lung at this point. I've had a little head thing going on the last few days, and I am just here wheezing my way through this broadcast.
Dave, you're legendary. You got this. We appreciate you coming on board, and I appreciate you helping out with the Fuel Fired Up series tonight. But getting back to our first caution out there on the racetrack, I mean, how many times have we seen instances like that at Michigan, especially with these trucks? You get a little aero push, a little aero tight there. The truck slides up. You're chasing it up the racetrack, and you just make incidental contact, and around you go, and then you end up collecting someone else in your mistake.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, you know, that's something that is indicative of being here at the house that Penske built. One of the drivers, basically the only driver not to come down pit road, Jeremy Garand from here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in that Mountain Dew Code Red Toyota Tundra. And I can't say that I'm surprised, but I can't say that I don't think that this is a kind of wild decision, as everybody behind him is about to have fresh tires.
This is an extreme decision by the 7 machine, but hey, if you don't have the speed to run with the top four, you have to do something different. And you got 12 laps on your tires. They're certainly not sticker tires, but they don't have 40 laps on them. Let's get that TRD Tundra up front in some clean air and see how it performs against your competitors like the 63 and the 91. Why not? It's early on. You got time to make a mistake. Got plenty of laps to recover.
Well, yeah, and you know, here's the thing, especially at a place like Michigan, where this is, although that it's not a super speedway by looks, there is a lot of drafting and things that are very super speedway like that go on here. So maybe Garand being up here, he's saved a little bit of fuel, maybe not as much as, you know, drafting way back in the field, but right now he's up 5 positions here. And the other thing he may be thinking about is the number of cautions in, you know, possible in this race. Last week at Nashville Fairgrounds, which is a short track, that's for darn sure, they wound up going with just 3 cautions. 3 cautions at Nashville Fairgrounds last week, which to me is impressive.
That's staggering. I mean, only 3 cautions. That's a tight, small racetrack. That racetrack entices you to crash into beat and bang. And for them to only have 3 cautions, that's almost unheard of.
Well, you know what? I'm looking back through the last several races, and even at Dover, they went 125 laps at Dover with no cautions. Dover, of all places. And it looks like, let's see, just 5 cautions on the dirt at Eldora. The most so far this season has been at Martinsville, of course.
Martinsville,
12.
Yep.
But that's it. Everything else is very clean.
Yep, very clean, but very high-octane racing. These guys do such a great job of some of the wildest side-by-side racing you will see in iRacing, and yet don't blow up the caution ticker. They do a masterful job out here each and every.
Well, and you know, we've seen in so many other leagues, you know, here on Sim Racing Media and iRacing.com, where sometimes things just get a little bit crazy, you know, with cautions. But obviously, with just 12 cars on the track in the first place tonight, not a difficult task to handle.
And speaking of crazy, how about Jeremy just smashing the loud pedal on the restart of that race and just walking the 91 on the whole shot? He's railed them back in going into the corner, but I did not see that one coming. I mean, Alex Link is about as good as you can get when it comes to restarts, especially having those 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods underneath that Toyota, and the 7 just walked him like he was standing still. And they're side by side as they're going now down into turns 3 and 4.
You know, I'm going to have to ask, but at some point, I'm going to have to beg him to tell me. It's almost like Jeremy Garand is working right now with 3 monitors, and he is quite clearly trying to side draft to stay up here with these trucks, you know, that have the fresh tires. And if that's what he's trying to do, he is being incredibly successful. As we're back under green here, I mean, every time he pulls off of the 91, he starts to lose a little bit of ground. But as soon as he starts side drafting again, my God, it's like a magnet attached to the 91.
Hey, Hey, it's the game of air too as well, right? You can use that air to your advantage if you know how to use it. And the 7 was doing a masterful job of it. Oh, he got a little push loose up the racetrack. Has to wheel it up the hill. Does a great job of catching.
Oh, the 3
And they
wide
touch.
doesn't. Wow. The 3 wide does not pan out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Matt. Go ahead.
No, it's perfectly fine. The 3 wide there does not pan out. They touch, but they do not wreck, and they do not throw a caution. And Dave, I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, these guys, they do that all the time. You will see that 7 to 10 times over the course of a race, and they never wreck.
See, now that's. Oh, here they go again. The 7. Wow. Oh, my God. Oh, they wrecked.
My!
There goes the
No,
7 looking right into the windshield as as the 63 just took the 7 to the face.
Oh, I had to say it. I just had to say it. Commentator curse. I'll own that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can send your hate mail to Mr. Matt Mettler, care of Sim Racing Media Towers in Florida, P.O. Box OU812.
I have a reply for that, but I'm going to.
Well, I figured if Tony's not going to be here in person tonight, he will be here in spirit.
No, I could not agree more. I love Tony. I love working with him. And if he's not here, you always got to invoke his presence, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's kind of like talking about the Pope when he's not in the room. Taking another look here at the 63. My goodness.
Yeah, that's just a mistake. I mean, if you go back, the last half a lap before this caution ensued, there was some wild side-by-side racing. I don't know to me, but does that look a little bit intentional to you there, Dave?
I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm just going to say maybe.
I mean, typically you don't see a trucker, typically turn in that direction that abruptly, especially, when you're going in the other direction, that direction. Not that I'm trying to be specific, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree. Trying to get a good shot here, but that one just did not want to cooperate. Since we've got some time and I'm able to move these cameras around, there we go.
No, I will say this. Typically, you don't see that type of racing from these guys. They're always very professional, very, from my tenure in the series, week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
It is sim racing. You're not physically strapped in the race car. Maybe his dog came up and dropped his ball on him.
I've literally had something similar happen, so I guess you're right, but we're going to back this up just a little bit further. And man, I think I might have caught that. Right here in the middle of your screen, right before that wreck. I'm looking at it, and I almost have to agree that it may have been not intentional. Something happened, on the home front.
Yeah, I'm going with that, and I've just never seen that type of racing style from that individual, and you hate to see it, but that's a byproduct of sim racing. We're not physically strapped in a race car. Life is still carrying around us, and could be net code, could be internet lag, maybe his wheel temporarily had a driver issue. Things like this do sometimes happen. Listen.
The interesting thing is that, we talk about the fact that, we're not physically strapped into the cars. You and I aren't even physically standing in the same booth together, as we're separated by about 1,200 miles. But, the interesting thing is sometimes that does affect the way that these gentlemen drive out here on the racetrack. If this was real life, somebody was probably going to the infield care center or maybe the hospital for an evaluation.
The sad part is you don't even realize that I'm sitting here with you in the booth for the past hours.
Oh, that's where that tickle came from on my neck.
Ah, yeah. See?
Well,
Now,
stranger things have happened.
True, and true.
My goodness. Well, as we get ready to rack them, stack them, and re-rack them, restart them, I'm sorry. Clayton White and Brian Whitney going to be on the front row here with Tyler Travis and Alex Link starting in 3 and 4. Then restarting in row 3, Cody Porter and Chris Vincent going to be side by side. So Things have definitely moved around now. Is Clayton White going to have control of this field as they come into turn 3?
Yeah, Clayton White's going to get his first opportunity to take him down to the checkered flag. Well, I want to see how his truck reacts in clean air. Typically, that Chevy Silverado has a bad, fast, super speedway and large, I'll call it a large cookie cutter setup in it. As here we go. That pace truck is going to take him down the back straightaway, crawling compared to the lap times we're running here. But nonetheless, Clayton White, he's going to lead him down to the checkers. I want to see if he's going to be able to take advantage of that clean air. Keep that truck out front as we go back to green. He's going to stand tall on it. The back tires are going to bite, dig into the racetrack, and it's going to launch him out in front of the field right now. He has got solid control of P1 as they go barreling down into turn 1. 76 of Brian Whitney, close proximity. He's up to the second position, up 2 from his 4th starting position. The 9 of Tyler Travis started 5th, currently 3rd, and Alex Link, he has slid back to 4th position, but don't expect him to stay back there long. He's probably going to make quick work of the 9 and get right back up there with his buddy Brian Whitney and see if they can continue to aggressively draft to overtake Clayton White, that 53.
And a three-way battle breaking out for 5th position right now as Chris Vincent has it right now in hand. However, Cody Porter was just up there sniffing the rear bumper, and now Oscar Jensen also with Cody Porter as now we have a two-way battle out here for 6th position as they have dropped back to duke it out, almost like a couple of kids in the back of the family station wagon while Chris Vincent drives away with this lead pack. Side by side go the 91 of Alex Lincoln, Tyler Travis in the 9 as Tyler Travis holding that high side. They're going into that formation that Tony and I both have talked about before, that diamond formation, 1 in the front, 2 in the middle, 1 in the rear. And all it takes is one person to have just had some fava beans for dinner and bad things can happen all over the racetrack. As they cross the start-finish line here on lap 22 of 100, Clayton White, your race leader, bringing the field into turn 1 once again, with Alex Link now being scored in 2nd position, but he is side by side with Brian Whitney.
Yeah, Alex Link has been on a tear from the 4th position from that restart. He does not like being in any position but P1, and that man, regardless if it's lap 5 or lap 99, he is going to do everything he can to come up through the field as fast as possible to get back to where he's comfortable, and that's leading this race. He's currently down on the bottom side of the racetrack. How about the 04 coming into the picture there? Cody Porter, he's on the high side working with the 21 of Chris Vincent. They got those trucks wound up as he's going to try to stick it 3 wide going through the corner. Oh, typically that doesn't work out so well. That kind of comes to a bottleneck corner off right there, but they make it work. 21 down on the inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Vincent deciding to slide back here behind Oscar Jensen. Maybe at this point he just needs to take a deep breath and relax himself after that near disaster. I mean, like I said, you know, especially in these trucks, I mean, these trucks, depending on, you know, maybe what steering ratio you're using, one flick of the wrist and it's all over for you. And, you know, here we are. What are we at? About a quarter of the way through this race on lap 24, and it looks like we've got a new battle for the lead as Alex Link coming back to try to take the lead away from Clayton White.
Yep, right on schedule. The 91 of Alex Link doing battle with the 53 of Clayton White. And if you think clean air doesn't make a difference on the performance of your race vehicle, look, showing case the 53 of Clayton White. He was not able to get up there and contend with the first top 3 trucks. He got out front on that restart of that. He's been able to hold them guys off and contend and stay up there. The 91 just doing everything he can, working the traffic, working the air to get back out in front of the 53. Alex Link back on point here at the Irish Hills of Michigan as we're lap 25 out of 100 through this evening. Big shout out again to all you folks in the live chat here on YouTube. If you're new, make sure you smash that like button, ring that bell. Right here at SRM, we got you covered every single day of the week. Live eSIM racing action. Make sure you come home to us each and every single day of the week. Alex Link continues to lead it back out front, but the 53 of Clayton White, he is Peyton the Bee, going to turn it down inside the 91. He wants to make a statement right here and say, Alex, you're gonna have to race me tonight. We're just not gonna give this one to you this evening. With the power move down on the inside, he's gonna try to. Nope, Alex Link fights back. He's got some help on the outside. Clayton White, as they go down the backstretch coming into turn 3, he's going to have the advantage of the line, but the 91 should be able to keep that momentum on the top side as they come back towards you, Dave.
Yeah, and Alex Link does not get the run over Clayton White that he thought he was going to get. He thought maybe a little bit of a push from Brian Whitney in the 76 as they are still side by side. I mean, it's pretty early so far, but if these guys stay like this much longer, we're going to see the torches and pitchforks coming out for sure tonight. As we now see side by side yet again, nearly making contact. Oh my, they just barely touch. If they did at all, coming down into the backstretch. We rolled in toward turn 3, and they are still side by side. I'll tell you what, this is one of those races that I cannot get enough of as we watch the field come into turn number 4. And just as they get ready to exit 4, I'll tell you what, this is one of those nights where I don't think we're going to see anybody get off the throttle.
These guys are not going to get off the throttle, and at times they remind me of the Blue Angels out here in formation at times. I mean, they pretty much just shook hands at 180 some odd miles an hour and made it look easy. The 91 of Alex Link, he is doing everything he can to remain P1 out in the racetrack. He knows how important track position is in this series. But here we go. Oh, turning down the nose of the racetrack. We got someone pointed in the wrong direction.
That was the 32 of Oscar Jensen and the 9 of Tyler Travis, as Travis trying to get himself back underway. Let's take a look here.
It's like someone put the 9 against the spikes and just tore the side of that machine up. Oh, he got some help. Bump draft gone wrong.
I'll say it was. My goodness.
You know, sometimes you can be a little too aggressive with that bump drafting, and if you hit someone too hard or you don't get it square in the tailgate, right where he hit him, that's not where you want to bump. That's going to hook that truck to the into the outside wall, and as a driver, there's nothing you can do, Dave.
No, not at all. And you know, you say it just perfectly. I mean, you know, here's the deal: when you don't hit just square, you know, you're gonna wind up with that kind of a mess, and that's exactly what went on here. As we watch these trucks once again slide right on past us. I mean, definitely something that you don't want to see, but unfortunately, racing's racing.
That's just it. If you want to run fast, if you want to be competitive in this series, this means you have to do the little extra things to get those 10 seconds out there on the racetrack. And in this case, it's bump drafting, and every once in a while, it goes array. And here is the end result: is the 9 machine of Tyler Travis brings it down pit road as this team's going to go to work on that race truck, see if they can just pound the side panels out a little bit, fix that nose of that race truck, throw some tape on the hood while you're at it, and if you got the tires, sticker it back up as well before you send her back out.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of tape here on the 9 machine, as that front right fender looks like it has been absolutely annihilated. Oh my. Well, again, Rubbin's racing, and you can't always plan for those things.
No, you can't, and that's why, you know, we always talk about the different races within the race, right? So, you know, just because you're out there driving at 180 miles an hour, you still have all the mental strategies, you know, the trends of the race that you're going to have to go up and battle against. Real time things happen. And this is just another version of it right here.
Without a doubt. 30 laps of 100 in tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Fired Up Esports League. Dave Riegel and Matt Metler here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Thank you for making us a part of your evening here, as I see a lot of you here in the YouTube live chat. Glad you're all with us. Looks like Suliko43 says, let's go number 76. So another Brian Whitney fan. I'll tell you what, he's got fans from coast to coast, the West Coast, the East Coast.
I'm telling you, Dave, it's like Junior Nation, but it's Whitney Nation. They come in from all over the place, and they're consistent. They come out here, and they support that 76 machine week in and week out, and it gets me fired up. I can't get enough of it.
Would it get you fired up for an esports league?
Absolutely would. I think that's a fair assessment.
You see what I did there? I should be working in marketing, not broadcasting.
Well, I know where you were going with.
Hey, see what I did? Yeah.
I'll get you some chicken cock.
Speaking of, you know what? I could use a shot of chicken cock whiskey. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so yet, you have to go look up the chicken cock whiskey. This stuff is delicious. I've never had anything so good as far as a whiskey. If you're into the brown liquors, chicken cock whiskey is where it's at.
Yeah, don't let the price tag deter you from buying it at that.
I did find a normal bottle, by the way.
Okay, not the $500 price point.
No, apparently here in Pennsylvania, the $500 price point is just because it's fancy stuff. But if you go to Total Wine over in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, or anywhere else where you might have them, they have normal price bottles.
Thank God. That was the one thing only deterring me away from trying it, but I was going to pull the trigger on it anyhow. You know, you always got to talk about sponsors and people that support iRacing, sim racing, and we're very happy, to have a chicken cock whiskey under the umbrella of SRM and doing and supporting all the things that we love.
Absolutely. Right now, the iRacing.com pace cars dive back down pit road. Clayton White has the front right portion of that truck all kinds of picked up and twisted. He's almost got that set for hillbilly setup, it looks like that suspension is. As they go back under green flag racing, White gets the jump here as he has not been down pit road since lap number 11. Going to see Alex Link probably blow his doors off here early on in this run. As he does, that should probably open the door for Brian Whitney and Cody Porter to do the same thing as they each were down on lap 29. Chris Vinson, the next driver not to have come down pit road this time, he was last down on lap 17.
Yeah, but how about the 53? Clayton White flexing some drive shaft out there on the racetrack. I've been telling you, this man's had the performance this season. He just has not had the finishes. He was one of my picks to win the race. It's good to see him running up front. Hopefully he can keep pace with the 91, work the race strategy, and be around to contend for the win, because that man deserves to win one of these. He's been too competitive all season long. But how about the 76 of Brian Whitney, the 53 and the 76? They're no strangers racing together. They will push, beat, and bang, and they will work together. They can come through a field from 20 spots back in the matter of laps. That's how well the 53 and the 76 work together, especially just like they're doing on the top side of the racetrack right now. 21, Chris Vincent, shout out to you, man. Started P9 all the way up to 15th.
Absolutely. The Holman, Wisconsin native up here trying to drive forward as far as he can. However, our biggest mover of the night is Oscar Jensen. Jensen, of course, here in the 32 machine, getting ready to pass Clayton White yet again, as White starting to slide backwards. That puts Brian Whitney from Tonasket, Washington, right in his crosshairs. And I got to say, as skilled as he is, I think things are going to get real tight real fast. While you were talking a moment ago, I was looking at Wilmington, North Carolina native Cody Porter here in the 04 Ford, and he has finally gotten back up to where he had started in that Moonlight Motorsports machine here. And I'll tell you what, it's interesting to see P1 and P2 still battling it out 35 laps in.
Yeah, they're going to battle that out like it's the last lap, every single lap that these guys run together, just because they know at a place at the house that Penske built, running like that is going to translate to tenths of the second of the speed chart. I mean, he had that 04 basically welded to the 91, which in other series is something you might see on the last lap of the race, because there are consequences typically when you race like that. However, when you're as good as the 91 of the 04, nah, no pressure, no sweat. We do this day in, day out, lap after lap. They're going to be tough to get around when they're linked up like that on the straightaways. Those trucks are going to be carrying a ton of speed.
Well, don't look now, but Brian Whitney was just trying to get a little feisty here with Oscar Jensen in the 32. Jensen up 8 positions now, as Whitney was getting ready to try to swing it down on the low side of that Nexus Sports Ford F-150. And he drafts up again, and it's almost like maybe he's trying to save a little bit of fuel, as they are able to do that here at Michigan International Speedway, the house that Penske built. Meanwhile, side by side are about to be the 53 and the 21 of Clayton White and Chris Vincent, respectively. And Chris Vincent looking to the inside of White as they are still side by side going into 1 and 2.
How about Chris Vincent tonight? He's got a hot rod this evening. This man is making good use of the performance, just hasn't had the luck or the results recently. But this 21 is FAST fast tonight. Started 9th, currently running 6th, and I don't think that's where he's going to end up. I think looking at his lap times, the way he's ran, the performance of the truck over this run, I think he's got a solid P3, P4 machine underneath him. Can he just keep it clean when the wrecks do happen? Can he stay out of it? Because Chris Vincent, another guy that's overdue for a good run, and so far, tipping my hat off to you, sir. Nice job running P6 right now out there on the racetrack.
And we can see right now Clayton White has about 1.2 seconds to Brian Whitney, so between himself and Brian Whitney. Then Chris Vincent about 1.5 seconds behind Clayton White. My goodness, maybe I could read tonight. Apparently, I have a presidential teleprompter here tonight. And, I'll tell you what, as I'm watching these drivers, right now Clayton White in kind of the best seat in the house. No reason to tear his equipment up to reach Brian Whitney, and no reason to back up into Chris Vincent.
Yeah, he's kind of in what I like to call the stress-free zone right now. He's not up there in that battle buddy battle up front, battling for the lead, running inches apart from each other. He's got about a, let's see, what's the deficit? He's about 2 seconds off of the back of Brian Whitney. He's out there kind of no man's land, just chilling, like you said, taking care of his equipment, saving up on those tires in case maybe there's a caution here that comes out. And you know what? It's just race management, knowing how to strategically just pick your way through the race. And right now you're at pretty much lap 40. Save your stuff, just ride a little bit. No reason to get caught up in trouble. Make sure your truck is in top performing condition when it counts down near the end. And that's exactly what he is doing.
Without a doubt. And I want to take a quick look here at Andrew Ton, as something seems to have gone wrong with him back here in the 54 machine. I'm wondering if the 54 blew up finally. And something tells me maybe.
Well, typically when there's smoke, there's fire, or in this case, an engine going south. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Here it's going to be just as we pass the exit. There it is. Past the exit of pit road is where that puff of smoke comes out, and that's the end of the 54.
Yep, that was all she had.
And folks, just in case you didn't believe us the first time, we're going to quick hop into the gyro cam of this machine here, and you can hear it. And that's the end.
Yeah, what a great job iRacing does with the simulator to recreate, these lifelike sounds of, just how these engines do pop in real life. Maybe just ran a little too much grill tape, was tucked in behind someone, got it too hot, and once you get these pressurized systems hot, they're not really easy to cool back down.
No, not at all. And, something that we had discovered the other night, actually in the Davis Brothers Roofing Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, if you're sitting in the pits, during practice, let's just say for argument's sake, they have an hour and 20 minutes of practice. If you have the car running for that, for a lot of time, it'll blow up just because.
Yeah, I found out that the hard way early on in my iRacing career, that the car would just basically blow up. You don't have that air coming through that grill to that radiator. It's almost, almost a lifeline of the vehicle to have air flowing through it. If you don't forget about it, that engine is not going to last.
Well, speaking of lasting, right now it looks like Alex Link has a lasting control over top of the lead of this race as he's being chased down by Cody Porter in the 04 Ford F-150. Oscar Jensen running in third right now. Brian Whitney in fourth. Clayton White rounds out your top five. And just 7 cars on the lead lap. So we'll take a look here at Chris Vincent and Kenny Reel in the 11 machine. Kenny Reel out here not aggressively picking up spots as he just seems to be picking them up as people keep dropping them.
I couldn't say that any better myself. You know, I want to take you back to about 20 laps ago, and we were talking about tandem draft, having a battle buddy, which is clearly what the 91 and 04 are doing. They're working together. Tip the hat, though, to the 70s of Brian Whitney and the 32 of Oscar Jensen for realizing that and knowing if they want to be able to hang with this lead pack, they need to replicate what they're doing. And that's kind of like this is indicative of what you would see, you know, on a plate racetrack. You know, the 04 and 91 are going to run together. Okay, we got something for you. The 32 and 76 are going to do just that. And they've been able to maintain striking distance. Maintain within the striking distance of the lead, whereas outside of fourth place, you're almost 3.5 seconds back.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the last thing that Brian Whitney wants is to lose that lead pack, as Link, Porter, and Jensen basically all separated by about the same amount of time, which is good, you know, equidistant between these three drivers. But Brian Whitney desperately wants to close that gap, as he wants to try to get inside of that 2/10 mark, and he does so just now, as he's now gotten to about 0.14 seconds behind Oscar Jensen. So now those two trucks are pretty well hooked up, and they can start really trying to lay down some time.
Exactly. And the other thing I want to touch on, let's shift gears real quick and talk about racecraft. Notice these guys are not dicing it up, mixing and matching it, battling for position side by side anymore. They're running single file, and they got a 4-truck draft going. They're going to check out on these guys, and that's smart heads up on their part, because the more laps they run single file in a draft like that, that's the more time advantage they're going to gain over everyone else in the field. So, you know what? Race like this, the next, 30, 40 laps, and then, when it comes down to it, battle it out. But very smart racing by the top four, also using the time strategy as well right now.
Absolutely, and just as we are about halfway in this race, lap 47 of 100, we're going to step aside and pay some bills. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Fired Up Esports League live on Sim Racing Media, the voice of iRacing.
Extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Rickmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Rickmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, rickmotech.com.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, the house that Penske built. You're watching the Fired Up eSports League here on Sim Racing Media, the voice of iRacing. Dave Riegel and Matt Metler with you here in the SRM broadcast booth. Right now, Alex Link has control of the field on lap 53 of 100, so we are past the halfway point as we work our way toward the century mark tonight. Alex Link, Cody Porter, Oscar Jensen, and Brian Whitney round out your top four in this first pack. And Matt, we've seen this big pack basically pull away.
Yeah, they are walking it out, just like the song says right now. Before the break, they were about 4 seconds. They have doubled it over the break. They are now gapping from fourth place to fifth, 8.27 seconds. If you want to take it a step further, go back to sixth place. The deficit, 24.605 seconds. That's the last truck on the lead lap. Sixth. That's the type of pace these guys up front are running right now. They has poured full military power and the afterburner, and they are flying around the racetrack as someone just got into the wall.
The 04 just got into the wall back here. That's Cody Porter in his Ford F-150. He is now off pace, and now there were three in this lead pack. And when I say pack, it's definitely kind of a slow going here, as there's just three trucks in the lead pack. 12 trucks took the green flag tonight. Andrew Ton and Johnny Avila both down on pit road getting repairs done. Anthony Emmerich decides to put it on the hauler early, but definitely an interesting night here at Michigan International Speedway.
Oh, that could have been disastrous for those guys, those top four guys out front, working so hard to run single file and build that time. The 04 right now, he has got to be furious inside that race truck. So if I'm that spotter, I'm that crew chief, I'm trying to be that voice of reason. Okay, let's regain your composure. Get your focus back. This track is very rhythmic. You don't want to let that just get in the mindset in the head of that driver and have your night spiral from there because of an unwanted interaction with the wall. Of course, obviously, that was not planned. He did not want to do that. But they got to make sure they get Cody calmed down and get him refocused, because if I'm that driver inside that race car, I am livid hot right now.
Absolutely. I mean, this is definitely going to change the way that things look here, as that even opens the door for the lap car of Jeremy Garan to try to get back in with this first group, and they just blew his doors off. They are really making some time now in lap 56 of 100 here at Michigan International Speedway. And at this point in the race, I think we're going to see a lot of people just decide that it's time to log some laps and stay out of trouble.
I mean, these guys look like they have a Formula One push-to-pass setup in these trucks. They are running so fast right now. I mean, I can't see exactly how fast they're running, but looking at their lap times with this many laps on the tires, they are just they are at light speed around this place right now. I cannot believe the time they're making around this racetrack. It is just incredible. Take a look at.
Go ahead.
I mean, take a look at the 76 of Brian Whitney. I mean, this man drove up there, and he stuck with, the 91 of Alex Link. How about the 32 of Oscar Jensen, though? At times, he's struggled with speed on mile-and-a-half type racetracks. Not tonight. That Ford F-150. He's feeling like the lightning of old underneath the skin of that race truck. Oh, he's just going to turn around, maybe take a peek on the inside of the 91. He didn't have the 76 where he wanted to, so he thought about it. But shout out to 32 of Oscar Jensen. That truck is hooked up tonight, and he is looking to contend for the win.
I don't blame Jensen at all for trying to go for the win. Even at this stage in the race, you're now past the halfway point, so there's about 35 to 38 laps available on a tank of fuel, as Oscar Jensen makes the pass on the 91 of Alex Link, and perhaps he saved just enough to get past Link here on lap number 59, working our way towards 60 as they thundered down the backstretch. And right now, I'm not saying that it's not obvious, but Alex Link definitely more than happy to just ride back here and maybe let Jensen cook his stuff up.
Yep, you stole the words out of my mouth. That definitely looked like Alex Link said, hey, you want it, you got it, man. I'll let you run up there. Hey, or maybe, you know what? Maybe it's the season of giving. We're getting into Christmas. Maybe he decided, hey, I'll let you go out there and lead a couple laps because he knows when he wants it back, he'll have no problem going back by. But how about the 76 again? Brian Whitney tonight consistently running in the third position. He was a part of that massive 4-truck breakaway. We lost the other counterpart in that earlier on in this run just a few laps ago. Cody Porter, he is all the way back to 8th position. Probably has some damage on that race truck. But again, talk about just breaking the race down into stages. Race the racetrack. Don't race yourself. And that's exactly what this man has done. He's put himself in position with his truck where he's needed to be at the right time. He's went with the right trucks tonight. And as a result, you're in P3 sitting really pretty right now, Dave.
You absolutely are. If he was my puppy, I would definitely give him a treat for sitting so pretty as he comes down the backstretch. 61 laps of 100 complete here at Michigan International Speedway on Sim Racing Media. You're watching the Fired Up Esports League. Dave Riegel and Matt Metler with you. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. Folks, if you haven't done so already when you're watching us... Whoa!
Oh, I don't think you could put a piece of paper between those two trucks now. I got to catch my breath after that one. I thought they were going for a ride. I don't know how they didn't touch.
Very carefully, I believe, would be the term. That was Clayton White that just went down a lap now as Oscar Jensen had made the pass in the 32. And I guess Clayton really wanted to try to hold on to that lead lap. Right now, he would be the lucky dog if that thing that we don't want to talk about comes out.
That's probably why you saw the old side draft in full effect to the degree that it was. Just basically take all that air, throw it all on the spoiler of the other truck, and it's like hitting the air brake out there on the racetrack. However, it does take what the skill to do it successfully. And when it goes wrong, typically two trucks or two cars end up in the wall.
Absolutely, quite literally an air brake, if you will, as it looks like Clayton White still not ready to put it away early tonight, as he is right on the rear bumper of Oscar Jensen. He doesn't want to be the free pass car. He wants to be on the lead lap as he now works the inside of Jensen. And Jensen says, you know what? You go right ahead. Speaking of being content, what's the difference if you pass me now or you pass me under caution? Go ahead and get your lap.
You know, Dave, how bad do you want it? And that's all I'm going to say, because that's all I have to say about the 53 machine. I mean, you just got put a lap down and then just went back up there and said, nope, I'll take that back. I mean, you don't see that a lot in racing, period, let alone in the Fuel Fired Up series. That guy, he wants it right now, and you're seeing that in the performance and the way that he's driving out there on the racetrack.
I mean, keep in mind, Clayton White last came down on lap 51 for tires, so he only has about 13 laps on these tires, so he's definitely on a better set of rubber than Oscar Jensen or Alex Link right now, who last came down on lap 29. In fact, at this stage in the race, we should start to see them think about fuel, as they're only getting about 35 to 38 laps out of a tank of fuel.
I'm always thinking about fuel in the Fuel Fired Up series. But hey, that Sunoco 76 racing fuel, the lifeblood of these race trucks out there tonight, those tanks have to be getting awful thirsty. Dave, how much longer can they stay out there for?
Well, you know, by my calculation, if we're going 35 to 38 laps, somewhere in there, we are in the pit window, and I would dare say that Oscar Jensen going to have to be the first to blink, as he had to use up a lot more fuel than everybody else. Hey, there he is. My goodness, look who made me look like a genius.
Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, driver. For once, you make us look great. How many times do we look just atrocious? Feels good every once in a while. Great call there, Dave. And like he was saying, the 32, he was out there doing all the work on the air side of things. He's going to take that Toyota TRD Tundra down pit road. Comes to, overshoots his pit box just a little bit. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. The jet goes underneath the vehicle. They're going to go to work, perform service, 4 tires, fill it back up with Sunoco race fuel, take a tear off, and he'll be back out on their way. times, the 91 has had one fatal flaw at times, and that has been blowing the wad on the money stop. And I seen a little bit of tire smoke. Hopefully he doesn't get caught for repeating. If he didn't, that was a masterful job of getting on pit road. But, you know, I was going to say before we seen the others start to come down pit road, once one goes down pit road, Dave, you don't want to stay out there too much longer because you're going to be giving up a ton of time each lap when those guys come off pit road with those 4 fresh tires.
No, I can't tell you, you know, the amount of times throughout a season, at least in the Davis Brothers Roofing SNN Cup Series, that I happen to run in. You know, I can't tell you the amount of times where I think, you know what, I'm going to stay out, get that bonus point for leading this lap. I do, and then, you know, inevitably something horrific happens, and I wind up then all of a sudden 2 laps down.
Yep, the tale of good and evil, if you will. Great because you get the bonus point, but then typically the byproduct is you get mired back in the field somehow, some way, which ends up being collected in a late race caution or incident. I used to do the same as well. I've learned my lesson. If you're competing, you're trying to stay up front and contest for the win. That first truck pulls off pit road, you better be coming by the next time or within 2 laps, because if not, you're just digging a hole that's hard to pull yourself out of, especially when cautions are at a premium.
Absolutely, and cautions are definitely at a premium tonight, as we've only had 2 cautions for cause tonight, and both of them did not take too much of the field out, unlike some of the other things that we've seen lately. I mean, have you seen some of the other races on iRacing lately where it just seems to be like a festival of cautions?
I like to call that the iPacing 500.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those even here on Sim Racing Media, and I'll tell you what, sometimes it just gets exhausting.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a commentator or a producer, when you have to change the hat from, just your typical, workwear, and you throw on the eye sleepers, when it becomes eye pacing, that makes for a tumultuous evening, not only for us in the booth, but for the drivers out there on the racetrack.
Listen, I'm the first one to admit, I have already had caution festivals break out, and, at Pocono and at Daytona. And, after a while, I got to be honest, I didn't even know what to say. Like, yep, here we are. I felt like Clark Griswold. Look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament.
Well, you know what? If that's the case, give me the slick sprit put on the bottom of that sled, and I want those flames that go along with it. That ride on the saucer was legendary.
The one thing that I always have to kind of smile at to myself as Clayton White going to finally come down pit road, last coming down on 51. So obviously he knows he can make it from here. I'm curious if everybody else can make it. We're going to be so close.
Well, you know what they say in life, fake it until you make it. Not really, but hey, sometimes you got to, as a crew chief, you got to sell it to the driver that you can make it on fuel, and just takes a little bit of coaching, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But some of these tanks right now have to be on the verge of going dry here if we try to run the distance from here, Dave.
Without a doubt, and just like that, Clayton White comes off of pit road. That'll put him down a lap, of course, as we were under green that entire time, as it looks like your leaders now coming through as they're about to pass him. That'll put him down on the lead lap, or off the lead lap, I'm sorry. But he may be able to get that truck wound up to chase down this pack.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to the lap times these guys are running up front. And another byproduct of you just not pitting and getting into that same pit sequence as the leaders do. Now, sometimes it can have a positive effect if you're playing the caution side of things. But just, hey, no cautions. There's really nothing saying right now, screaming there's going to be a caution. And even with the size of this racetrack, coming down pit road, off cycle, you're going to go down a lap, and it's going to be, not saying it's impossible, but he's got his work cut out for him.
Just like that, I'm looking here at some of the times from Michigan International Speedway in the Truck Series. The Truck Series record was set in 2018 at the Cargan Oil 200 by Myatt Snyder at 38.666 seconds.
38.66. Now, that's the track record. Now let's look at our race. Let's look at our qualifying pace. Just in the 39.2 second bracket. Let's look at the current race pace in the mid 39s. So that's just backs up what we're saying. These guys are literally setting a blistering pace out here on the racetrack, lap in and lap out.
And on more than one occasion, I've always found myself trying to explain to people, iRacing is not a game, is not just a game, but it is a simulation. That's why we here at Sim Racing Media, talk about the fact that although that these trucks may not physically be in Michigan right now, although that this track may not physically be in Michigan right now, the people on the track, the racing and the personalities, they're real. And, Alex Link has to be just a little bit frustrated as, he had worked so hard to get up here to the lead and now is, don't get me wrong, he is still leading, but now he's kind of hit the lap traffic of Cody Porter. And I got to be honest, if I was Cody Porter, I would either be down on that apron or waiting for somebody to punt me.
Or is he waiting to return the favor to someone that put him in the wall a little bit earlier? Remember, at one point in this race, he was all a part of that Ford truck breakaway, and then kind of got set up for a flash date with the outside wall, which is why he's currently running 10 laps down with some damage that he sustained with that contact on that Ford F-150. But I guess only time will tell as that scenario plays out. But Dave, I couldn't have said it any better myself, sir.
Absolutely. And right now we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back here to Michigan International Speedway. Right now, folks, we are going to give you a treat and let you turn it up and listen to the sounds of the fired up eSports League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Irish Hills of Michigan. As I am Matt Metler alongside Dave, my partner Regal tonight, as we're currently coming back to the live action high octane racing here out on the racetrack as we are under 20 to go. And you're taking a look at the 91 of Alex Link. And Dave, it looks like he did some trading paints before the race because he switched up the Save the Manual 6-speed with the Swamp Dog being painted on the side of that vehicle.
Now, you're going to have to educate me on what a swamp donkey is.
Well, typically, I'm under the contract that I signed with SRM. I cannot get into the specific ins and outs of that. However, I can tell you a few years back, this is legitimate. You can look it up.
I'm looking it up now.
Swamp Donkey actually sponsored a truck. I believe it's a road course track, and in trading paints, you can actually find remnants of that. There is a lone paint scheme in there. But look at that donkey, man. He's got his lips hanging wide open. His hair's all blown back. I guess if you were hanging on the side of his truck for 87 laps, my hair'd probably be a mess too.
That's fairly accurate. I mean, I like to think that I take care of my hair, but my goodness. 87 laps, 14 to go now as Oscar Jensen now working the high side of Alex Link. By the way, I am looking at the definition on Urban Dictionary of swamp donkey, and I gotta say, I feel dirty just reading it.
Now you understand the political answer I gave to your question. However, if you guys at home, you can check it out. I'm not fluffing you, not BSing you. Swamp Donkey is a thing, and they did sponsor a truck. And that whole race, I laughed hysterically the whole time. I couldn't watch it because I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Oh, my. And the definitions are getting worse as I page down.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better. You're not going to find a variant that's probably broadcast worthy if you get me.
No. In fact, this is worse than the famed Alabama Hot Pocket.
Or Blue Waffle.
Oh. Listen, kids, stay away from Google for the rest of your life.
The best part is Walmart actually made a legitimate ad campaign with that, and it was hilarious. I am not... but that's food for thought outside of the racing
No pun
box.
intended?
No pun intended. But, I mean, hey, we're getting down here at almost 13. We are 13 laps to go. Now 12 laps to go. 11 to go. Thank you there. My scoring software was just a little bit off. 11 laps to go. Let's see how they stack up. Let's run them through the field. The 32 of Oscar Jensen. He started position 11th. He's definitely a candidate for the rocker with the shocker move of the race so far right now is he is P1, your leader. But do not expect the 91 of Alex Link to go down without a fight. He is within close proximity. He is within striking. Sorry about that, guys.
Don't be sorry. It's fine.
My son wanted to say hi. He wanted to get on the broadcast too. But as I was saying,
what's up, little Metler?
Dave says hi, Matty J. But as I was saying, the 91 of Alex Link, you know he's not going to go down without a fight. He is going to be coming at you like a bull, swinging, charging with the horns. He is not going to make it easy for Oscar Jensen. But what a run by the 32 machine. 76, Brian Whitney, Mr. Consistency. Another top solid podium performance tonight. Has himself set in comfortably inside the third position. This man has no pressure virtually at all on the lap. You'd have to go 33 seconds back to find any type of competition for him, and that's going to be the 53 of Clayton White, currently running P4, 33.198 seconds off the lead, which means he's got to be in jeopardy of going a lap down anytime. And currently one lap down, rounding out your top five, started P12. That's going to be the 11 of Kenny Reel.
Yeah, and as we're talking about, who's going to be next, we take a look here at Kenny Reel in the number 11 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Silverado. I do have to fully disclose that I also call an Xfinity series. I call a Cup series. So sometimes the faces change, and so do the cars or trucks.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But you know what? I love calling all the different variations under the NASCAR umbrella. But sometimes we'll call it Toyota a Chevy and vice versa, even though we don't necessarily intend to. Our eyes sometimes just play tricks on it.
You have to tune in if not looking at your screen is disturbing. You have to go back to the Rick Motek Extreme Scoring Cup Series that Tony and I just wrapped up on Tuesday night. And you have to look at the number 3 car driven by John Sterling. This week's paint, now it's a next-gen series. This week's paint scheme was the number 3 Stuart Haas Dodge. Oh my goodness. I just forgot the Dodge SRT. There we go. The Dodge SRT Ford Mustang. It's so hard to rattle off. It's just the way that he has the car painted. But it's so hard to rattle off. Even now, talking about it casually, I wind up stumbling over my words. Earlier this season, it was a black number 3 GM Goodwrench Ford Mustang.
There's no way in heck I could get that right. Anytime black number 3, that is iconic, that is biblical, and that belongs to one person only, and that is Dale Earnhardt Sr. That would give me a hard time.
We basically thought that each of us were having a stroke all season long. I kept smelling burnt toast.
Yeah, that would fry a couple circuits in my brain for sure every time having to process what I'm seeing, let alone speak it. But it is starting to get interesting back up front, Dave. That 91 machine has hit the go time. That internal timer has went off in Alex Link's truck, and it is said it is time to fly. And it's not delivery knocking on the back door. It's Alex Link. He is salivating all over the rear tailgate of that 32 machine. He's going to look to slipstream him here down the back straightaway. No help, no problem. Not the 4-car tandem draft. It's going to be all about using your skills, the air against from one truck to the other. Who is going to be able to turn it down the racetrack and make use of those tires? What's left to stick is he's going to have to do something, potentially go where the 32 of Oscar Jensen isn't on the racetrack if he wants to pass him cleanly, because he is doing a great job of just taking the preferred line away. Every time he goes to execute the move, he just pins him down the racetrack, but 91 may get him here.
The 91 does make the pass over top of Oscar Jensen, as Oscar now relegated back to P2 in his Ford F-150. Just 1/10 of a second separating these two drivers. You can check that out there in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. 4 laps to go in the fired-up eSports League here on Sim Racing Media, the voice of iRacing. Dave Riegel and Matt Metler with you here in the broadcast booth. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. Make sure that if you're watching us on YouTube.com to subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, give us a thumbs up. It makes finding your friends and family out here on the racetrack a lot easier. And Matt, we are 3 to go here at the line.
Yeah, we are 3 to go here at the line. It was like an internal clock just went off in the 91, and it was time to go. Hashtag go time. And takes about a lap or two to pull it off. But now the 91 beginning to just walk away with 32 of Oscar Jensen. But you know what? That man needs to hold his head high. He put on one heck of a performance this evening. Started P12, ran up front all race long. And you know what? Led a good bunch of laps as well. Got to try to do something here. You got 1 lap basically to do it. But with the deficit being a half a second, even going up top and really getting that truck wound up, not talking about pulling a melon, man. That does not work in this truck. Riding the wall is going to be like pulling a freaking e-brake on that truck. The tires are going to be down in no time, so you definitely don't want to do that. But one heck of a show by the 32. As Alex Link, he is linked up, got the Swamp Donkey on board and all. He's going to bring the barnyard animals inside that Toyota Camry right across the start-finish line here at the Iris Hills. He is your winner tonight. The 91 of Alex Link reasserts himself as the one to beat in the Fuel Fired Up Series, Dave.
Absolutely. I mean, a great performance from Alex Link here in the number 91 Toyota Tundra as he cools down here on the back stretch. He still has about half a lap to go here as the white flag is in the air. Alex Link brings his truck into turn number 3. He rolls it through 3. He gets it up into 4. Oscar Jensen now almost a full second behind him as Alex Link seems to have found the nitro switch in the cab of this truck. As he comes into the trioval, he crosses the start-finish line, and Alex Link is your winner here in the Michigan International Speedway 100, brought to you by Martin Sports. Oscar Jensen comes across second, while Brian Whitney finishes on the podium as Clayton White finishes 4th and the final spot here on the lead lap cars tonight.
Hey, I'm sorry about that, guys. I must have somehow engaged the flux capacitor, because right now on my screen, I am showing we're working lap 102. So didn't mean to call it prematurely, but at the end of the day, Alex Link still your winner here tonight. Just a dominating performance, as you said, Dave, from flag to flag. That man was just, he was on a laser, look, a slot car back in the day out there on the racetrack. That truck didn't wiggle once all night tonight. But can't say enough about the 32 of Oscar Jensen, as the 91 goes ahead and puts on the smoke show, and rightfully so. Again, Whitney Nation, your driver never disappoints, coming in with a solid top 3 performance tonight. He's the final podium spot. Clayton White, 53. You had speed at time tonight. Glad to see you get a finish that was indicative of your performance. P4, that's a long time coming. Chris Vincent going to come home the first truck a lap down in P number 5.
Getting ready here to find our podium, folks.
Down there,
interesting.
Down there getting some grass for his swamp donkey.
I'll
Probably hungry.
I'll say he is. Looking for Alex Link right now in Discord. I'm going to guess that his name is Links. And Matt, I believe that you have Alex Link with you in the broadcast booth.
Alex, my favorite Link. Matt Metler, you got me, sir.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, hey, that's the Alex Link that I am used to seeing. Start P1, just dominate everything out there on the racetrack that there is to dominate. It's like the internal timer just went off and you said it's time to go. You made quick work of the 32 and you come home with just an epic dominating performance again tonight from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Alex, when are you going to give me that Moonlight setup, man? I bet you're teasing me.
Hey, if you want it, you can go support the team over at moonlightspeed.com and get yourself one of these.
I'm going to have to take you up on that. So I'm serious. I mean, because it's like either you're with Moonlight or you're just on the outside looking in. But I mean, that truck was just so planted on that racetrack tonight. Johnny Avila, I know, typically under the same umbrella with you. He had some trouble earlier on in the race. Was it that easy tonight? It just looked like you had just zero issues out there on the racetrack. It looked like you were stress-free and set it on cruise control all night and just came home effortlessly. Tongue twister there. Effortlessly.
Yeah, so when we came here in the, what was it? I don't remember, it was like the summer or whatever. You know, we brought a great package and, dominated a lot of C Opens, got a lot of wins, and ended up going into Road to Pro. Did very well there. So, we're going to bring this package to here. This is one of these that, you had circled on your calendar. Like, this is just going to be a great track for all the guys. It sucked. Johnny got wrecked, and then Cody wrecked himself. Sorry, Cody. And so then, it was just a fuel mileage then after the green flag pit stopped, and I guess I was just able to save just enough to release sooner than Oscar, which was, a great battle because, it's intense, like, who's saving more, who's saving less, who can go when, all that stuff.
Yeah, I seen you guys pull that trick you did at Daytona where you got the tandem draft going there and just opened up a massive gap on the field when you had that 4-car single line draft running. You guys were just flying. I mean, did you have to do that? Was it necessary?
I guess. You gotta flex. I mean, you gotta show.
Yes, sir.
We're not here just to play around. We're here to, squish them all and dominate.
No, I agree. Hey, racing's racing, and you're out there to win, and you've done a great job of that so far this season. Got a lot of people that I imagine you want to thank here on that 91 machine. I'll turn that over to you, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank Express Esports, Moonlight Speed, YJ Media, basically anybody who supports Moonlight and all their partners, and want to thank the league like always for putting this on every Thursday. It's very enjoyable to come home from work and just hop on and race with a great group of guys, and I want to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast every week.
No, certainly we appreciate it. Oh, go ahead, check on that donkey on the side of your truck. His hair is pretty jacked up.
Hey, it's not a donkey, it's a capybara.
It's a we're gonna talk about this.
I say, don't. It's a little club, Gotta rep the capybara.
Well, thank you for the correction. I guess I'm not that up to snuff on my my farm animals, but from my perspective, it's a donkey. There's your winner tonight, reasserting his dominance here in the Fuel Fired Up Esports Series. Starts P1, finishes number 1. Alex, my favorite link. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Matt, another one in the books here in the Fired Up Esports League, as it appears that the rest of our podium has decided to clear out.
Wow. Well, there's a change of events.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
Listen, I'm kind of looking for him here. Wait.
I got 2 for 1 in the hauler going on right now. No wonder why they cleared out.
Oh, see, I can't see the hauler. Well, that's interesting.
That was VIP invite only.
Ah, fair enough. Well, that's fine. I'm just the fill-in guy. However, listen, Matt, it's been a great race here at Michigan International Speedway. Let's take a look at the final results of this race as we pull these up here. Alex Link, of course, with Oscar Jensen and Brian Whitney on the podium tonight. That'll bring along Clayton White and Chris Vinson finishing out the top 5. Kenny Reel, Tyler Travis, Cody Porter, Andrew Ton, and Jeremy Garand from Philadelphia rounding out the top 10 and finishing the field out of the 12 trucks that took the green flag, Johnny Avila and Anthony Emmerich. So a small field tonight, all things considered, but those 12 drivers put on some great racing, showed a lot of skill, and it definitely makes me excited. The next time somebody needs a fill-in, I will be more than happy to be here.
No, absolutely, Dave, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me. Love working with you every opportunity I get, and that's just it with the Fuel Fired Up series. People ask me about the series. I tell them the answer is right in the name, Fuel Fired Up, because that's what you get from these guys week in and week out. Don't let that truck count deter you. They make it look like there's 35 trucks out there each week in, week out.
Absolutely. I mean, and I share the same sentiment. It's always a joy when I get to work with you. And I mean, I think that's what makes our family here at Sim Racing Media special, in the sense that we all look forward to, everybody wants to work with, the big names, like Mr. Trapasso or Mr. Marchese. But then when it comes down to the little guys like you and I, it's like, hey, listen, this is a lot more fun than, doing nothing on a Thursday night. And I look forward, when I saw that it was you that I was working with, I was like, hey, I'm about to spend 100 laps with a good friend and hang out.
Hey, Dave, I appreciate that a lot coming from you. In my personal opinion, you're way up there on the totem pole. So anytime I get a chance to just watch what you do and learn from you, I appreciate it. So I definitely really appreciate the kind words and comments there. I believe that makes it a night here at the Irish Hills at Michigan, the house that Penske built. Dave, go ahead, take us home, bro.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for making us a part of your evening. You have been watching Sim Racing Media, the voice of iRacing, with Dave Regal and Matt Metler. And folks, tomorrow as you go through your day, you need to find that one happy moment. You need to hang on to that moment, because a happy thought can make you fly. Good night, everybody.